I'm attorney Gloria Allred. I represent KK, and she'll give you her full name. And she gives permission to use her name, her full name, and her image for broadcast. So I'll make a brief statement, then she has a statement, and then we'll answer a few questions. Today, Sean Patrick Banks was sentenced for crimes including rape by force against Katie Kuhlman, age 24. Katie is also my client. Banks was also sentenced today for crimes including rape of an intoxicated person against another victim whom I do not represent. Both victims met him through online websites for individuals who were seeking meaningful relationships. Katie met Banks through Christian Mingle. The other victim met him through Match.com. Millions of women use these sites with the hopes that they will meet the right person for them. The women often have no idea that many of these sites are used by dangerous sexual predators, such as Sean Patrick Banks, to target victims. In the case of Sean Patrick Banks, the sentencing report from the probation department indicates that he used the name Ryland, which was not his legal name, and that he also lied about his age, listing it as 27 when his true age was 37. Many online predators take advantage of victims who are vulnerable, as Katie was. The predators then become sexually aggressive and violent, as the jury found that Banks was with Katie. Fortunately for women, however, Katie did the brave and the right thing. After Banks left, she reported what she had endured to law enforcement. After she did that, law enforcement held a press conference and another victim came forward. Because of Katie's courage, Banks is now in prison where he belongs. We're holding this press conference today because Katie and I want other potential victims to be aware of the risk of online dating. We don't want what happened to Katie to happen to anyone else, and if it does, we urge other victims of predators to immediately report what happened to police. We're happy that Sean Banks has now been sentenced to prison, but other dangerous predators are online and looking for victims. Please be careful. The dating websites do not do what we think they do or should do to protect you. Danger may be ahead. And now I present Katie. Before I do, I just want to say one other thing about what Mr. Banks said to the victims, suggesting that he would waive his right to appeal if the victims would take a polygraph test. In my almost 39 years of practicing law, I don't think I have ever heard a statement that is more disrespectful at the time of sentencing to the jury's verdict and to the victims. The jury is the ultimate finder of facts and of the truth of what happened in this case, and in every case. The jury found beyond a reasonable doubt that Sean Patrick Banks was guilty, and that is why they convicted him. That's a heavy burden. To now suggest that the victims should have to take a polygraph test, to suggest that somehow they were lying, is the ultimate insult and disrespect. And I'm glad that the court picked up on that and stated in court that, at least as to the court, that indicated a lack of remorse, among other things, by the defendant. So, to answer the question clearly and simply, would it be my recommendation as her attorney that she take a polygraph test? And my answer would be absolutely not. The jury found that they believed the victims, that they were credible. I only represent this particular victim, but no, I would not recommend that to her. She is not going to answer the question even now. She is not going to dignify that statement with an answer. So please don't even bother asking her, because she will not answer that. So I say that to Mr. Banks, who can't hear, but his defense attorney is standing there looking at me. You can take that, Mr. Defense Attorney, to your client and just let him chew on that. All right, now I present the real hero in this case, and that's Katie.
So my name's Katie Kuhlman. I was raped by Sean Banks on November 21st, 2012, and that night completely changed my life. My life didn't change because I became a victim of rape, but it changed because I realized that bad things can happen to even me, and that scary people aren't just in movies, they're real. I've spent the last 2 years picking up broken pieces in my life. The first several months were the hardest. I was very depressed. I hid from my family, my friends. That year I spent Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's Eve completely alone in my apartment. I wouldn't even take phone calls. I almost lost my job for missing so much work, and I learned that surviving rape can actually make you feel dead inside. I've spent a lot of time in therapy, and as much as it's brought me out of that depression, I still struggle with understanding why Sean Banks did this to me and why he used power and manipulation and fear and intimidation to try to get away with it. I believe that sex is a choice and that I should decide if and when and with whom I choose to be intimate. Sean Banks took that away from me, and coming to terms with losing that control over my body has been very hard for me. It's even harder to realize that that trust that I had in humanity to respect my rights was broken by someone without any remorse. These last 2 years I've learned so much, and I've discovered a strength that I never knew that I had. I found healing, but I know that there are scars and they will always be there. Not one day goes by that I don't think about that night. Sometimes it's triggered by perfumes or cologne, or if I'm watching a TV show and someone looks like him. But no matter what, it's always in the back of my mind. I've been trying to put this behind me, and I was hoping that after the trial that I could start and I could have a new chapter in my life apart from this. I want Sean and his family to know that I pray for him every day. I pray that he realizes that what he did was wrong. I pray that he understands how terrible this has been for me, and I pray that he realizes that he's not smarter than the law and he can't hurt people and just get away with it without any punishment. I'm going to have to deal with this battle for the rest of my life, and the scars and memories from me will never go away. I don't want Sean to ever have the opportunity to physically, sexually, or emotionally hurt another female again. My ultimate goal in coming forward and going public is to encourage other women who have gone through similar situations to not be afraid to do the same. Rape can happen to anybody, anywhere, anytime, and it is never okay.
How does it make you feel to know that you may have saved other women by coming forward from being his next victim?
You know that saying, a ton of bricks has been lifted off of your back? Like that, it feels amazing. It makes everything completely worth it.
Why do you have Ms. Allred as your attorney representing you? Are you planning on filing a lawsuit or something, or like a civil lawsuit against Mr. Banks or his family, or is there something about the harassment that's been going on?
I'm just retained to advise her about her rights and responsibilities in the criminal justice system, and if, as and when it's appropriate to advise her about other matters, certainly she and I will discuss that.
Is there a possibility of litigation against Christian Mingle?
We have no comment.
Katie, were you satisfied with the sentence, or do you think it should have been more?
I was very satisfied with the sentence. Like I said before, my ultimate goal was for him to never, have the opportunity to do this again, and I feel like that was accomplished with the sentencing.
When you say that you pray for him and his family, how do you find the strength to do that, or what are you praying for him as you move forward from here?
I ultimately want him to understand that you can't control women with power, and that I'm sure other women agree, we are all in charge of our own bodies, and I pray that he realizes that, and I pray that he changes. I understand the law and punishment, but my ultimate wish and prayer for him is that he realizes what he did and he changes as a person.
How did you finally find the strength to come forward and really take action against all this?
I didn't want other girls to go through the same thing, and I realized that night that it was very possible that this was something that he had done before and would probably do again.
Is your attorney going to get a restraining order against his family from communicating or trying to communicate with you?
Yeah, we have no comment on that, but I just will say that under Marcy's law in California, a victim has a right to be free of harassment, and we would hope that everyone would respect the law and respect the fact that these victims have been through quite a bit, and that they should, and that no one should try to contact them or harass them or malign them in any way, because that will have a chilling effect on others in the future. And we want people to come forward and report to law enforcement if they believe that a crime has been committed, and then law enforcement and the district attorney's office can make a judgment as to whether or not they will proceed. So I'll just say I take very seriously any harassment of any victim, and I think that now that everyone understands that she has an attorney, that they should really review the law and understand that whatever their feelings are about the ultimate result, they should back off from contacting either the victim or any member of her family or any friend of hers. It will not create any benefit to them to do so, and it can have serious consequences. So any other questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.